Alright, what's up guys? My name's Aaron, you guys already know me. And I'm here to talk about bullying and talk about some of like how it affects everyone. So first, I want to tell you guys about my personal story. In middle school, I was bullied a lot and I got like treated really badly because I went from a different school to another one. So I got bullied a lot. Like it came to the point where a couple kids grabbed me, picked me up, and threw me in like in a dumpster, like twice. And I was like so scared that people I was so scared I didn't want to tell anyone, and that's like that really affected me for a long time. I just want to tell you guys a couple stats about bullying. Every year, over 160,000 students miss school every day out of fear of being bullied. 60% of students report being bullied regularly. A kid who gets bullied is 2 times to 9 times more considering suicide than people who aren't bullied. Over 70% report bullying as like a constant problem. 4th to 8th graders report being victims. 90% of 4th to 8th graders report being victims of bullying. And I just want to tell you guys like my story. Like I didn't want to tell anyone, and that's like a really like big problem because that relates to so many other kids where like they get bullied and they don't want to tell anyone because they're afraid of getting hurt or they're afraid of getting judged, and that's why it's a big problem because it's an unobserved problem. Now I'll move on to my next point. Bullying affects everyone: the bullied, the bullies, and the bystanders. The bullied, they lose interest in things that they were previously like into. If they went to sports, they lose interest, or they just lose interest in anything that they were interested. They suffer in their GPA, their grades go down, and they usually develop mental health problems later on in life that can follow them to their adulthood. Bullies, they have an increased amount of drug abuse or alcohol abuse. They usually spend some kind of time in prison in their adulthood, and they usually have a lot of insecurities. And even the bystanders also have negative effects. They usually also have more of a tendency to go into depression or drug or substance abuse. And they have kids who are regularly like witnessing bullying are more likely to miss or skip school out of fear of being bullied themselves. And like this is why like it's such a big problem, because like any parent will kind of say like this will never happen to kids, or like this will never happen to my kid, but like that's why like people don't expect it to happen, and it happens, and then no one says anything about it, or they see it and they just ignore it. It becomes like a norm where no one wants to do anything about it, and that's why I think it's a huge problem. And these are just all of these little charts are just like stuff like just to show you like all the different kinds of bullying, and like how in middle school you see the most amount of bullying, and that's like when there's a lot of like mental development, and that's like a really essential part of someone's life that can affect them for the rest of their life. And now that I've talked about how my personal story and how it relates to like bullying in general, I talked about like some like stats and like emotional effects that happens to people who are bullied and to people who just watch or do the bullying themselves. I'm gonna talk about like how like most people don't see it as important at all, because I watched a documentary where like there's this kid who's like, I hate you, I'm gonna like cut your face off and wear it because you're so stupid. And this kid, he tells the teacher like this guy told me something, and like he told me this. It's like, oh, maybe he won't do it. Like they don't do anything about it. Like they don't see it as important. Like they don't think it's real. And I'm just like, wow. Like people like what if you were in a workplace, like you're in an office and you tell someone else like, I hate you, you're a nerd or whatever. Like you're gonna get fired. Like you'd be like, you're insane. That's unacceptable. So why should behavior like this be acceptable like in schools when it's not acceptable like in the workplace? It shouldn't be whatsoever. Okay, now to wrap things up. So first, I talked about my story. Then I talked about the effects on bystanders, bullies, and bullied. And lastly, I talked about how people don't, like, it's not important for people, and it should be. It should be an observed and controlled thing, because with time, it's just gonna turn into something that's so normal that people are just not gonna want to deal with it anymore.